Interestingly, we haven't seen the indictments yet. There's been some time lag. I suppose it will take some time to go through all the forensic, evidence.
The Harvey household is unraveling, and this time, the damage isn't subtle. What was once a tightly managed public image is now fracturing, with Lori Harvey reportedly at the center of a controversy that could pull her stepfather, Steve Harvey, into the same legal and reputational collapse currently surrounding Sean Diddy Combs. For months, the public has watched Diddy's world crumble in real time. Federal raids, mounting lawsuits, and a growing list of accusers. But new information suggests this story stretches far beyond one disgraced music mogul. According to insiders, a serious internal rupture is unfolding within the Harvey family itself, one that could permanently shatter their carefully polished legacy. Sources now claim that Lori Harvey is not merely observing the chaos from the sidelines. Instead, she is allegedly cooperating with rapper and media mogul 50 Cent, who is said to be developing a second explosive documentary aimed directly at dismantling what remains of Combs' empire. And if those reports are accurate, this isn't casual gossip. It's a deliberate effort that could trigger major fallout. What makes this even more volatile is the alleged motivation behind Lori's actions. Insiders suggest her anger isn't solely directed at Diddy. It's reportedly aimed at Steve Harvey himself. The claim? That Steve knowingly encouraged, or at minimum approved, her involvement with Combs, despite being fully aware of his controversial reputation and the circles he operated in. To understand the stakes, rewind to mid-2019. Photos of Lori Harvey and Sean Combs began circulating across.
Her mother is 54 years old. Her mother is 5 years older.
Across Europe and the U.S., Italy, Mexico, and New York, often showing coordinated appearances and intimate settings. At the time, the story was packaged as a brief, glamorous romance, a 22-year-old social media star linked to a 49-year-old industry heavyweight. But hindsight changes everything. Reports now allege that during that same period, Steve and Marjorie Harvey were present at multiple private gatherings that appeared less like family outings and more like strategic meetings. What once looked like parental approval may now be interpreted very differently, especially as federal investigations into Combs intensify, with Lori allegedly sharing information with 50 Cent's team. The critical question has shifted. It's no longer just about what happened.
For the series, for the film.
I mean, I think the intention is to give a more full-bodied experience to what happened, from the people that agreed to sit down and to participate. And I feel like the film asks a lot of questions, maybe more questions are asked than answers given.
And between Lori and Diddy, it's about who enabled the situation, who stayed silent, and who benefited while the risks were ignored. If these allegations hold weight, this isn't simply celebrity drama or a personal falling out. It could mark the beginning of a very public reckoning for Steve Harvey, a man whose career has long been built on presenting himself as a voice of integrity, family values, and moral authority. And once narratives like this crack open, they rarely close quietly. Timing is the pressure point in this unfolding drama, with Sean Diddy Combs' legal defense racing to limit what reaches the courtroom ahead of his scheduled May 2025 trial. The atmosphere behind the scenes has turned frantic. The release of 50 Cent's first expose documentary, Sean Combs, The Reckoning, already sent tremors through the entertainment industry.
Fast.
As I said, never before seen footage of the days leading up to his arrest. Can you just talk a little bit about, was there anything that surprised you from that footage?
The footage, well, I mean, I think it's rare to find someone who's being, talked about all over the country. All eyes were on him, so to speak. And it was really interesting to see his last days of freedom,
Forcing uncomfortable conversations in boardrooms and back offices alike. Now, reports suggest a second chapter is quietly taking shape, and the potential impact is far more dangerous. This time, the information allegedly fueling the project isn't coming from distant observers or anonymous insiders. It's said to involve Lori Harvey herself. And that distinction matters. Lori isn't just another voice. She belongs to one of television's most recognizable families. The Harvey name opens doors, grants proximity, and according to sources, provides direct insight into how Combs' orbit intersected with her stepfather's world. Steve Harvey and Diddy didn't cross paths by accident. Their history stretches back years. Shared appearances at high-profile functions, mutual participation in industry events, and moments on the same stages that were captured and celebrated by the media. In 2019, those ties appeared friendly, even warm, as Lori and Combs were photographed traveling internationally, their relationship publicly framed as lighthearted and temporary. But if the version of events Lori is now said to be sharing becomes public, that narrative may not survive scrutiny. According to insiders, the upcoming documentary could expose how closely Steve Harvey was connected to Combs' inner network, and whether those connections came...
Look, I think it was surprising that he actually filmed it.
Yeah, and I want to ask about that, because how did you go about getting the footage? And do you know the intent of the videographer, why he or this person took the footage?
She's a journalist, right?
Yeah.
So she's not going to reveal her sources, so you don't have to reveal that.
And that's where More troubling is the allegation that his influence may have played a role in guiding Lori toward an arrangement she now allegedly views as a mistake. If that testimony gains traction, the story won't just revisit old photos or celebrity rumors. It could force a serious re-examination of power, protection, and responsibility inside one of Hollywood's most carefully guarded families. This situation goes far beyond a relationship that simply didn't last. At its core, this is about power and pressure. Lori Harvey is not an outsider who wandered blindly into the spotlight. She's a seasoned model, a brand ambassador with major endorsements, and a digital powerhouse with millions watching her every move. More importantly, she grew up with
I think that the goal of what the film is trying to do is to let the audience kind of come in to ask questions like, you know, in a trial where there's so much media coverage, you know, before, during, and after, were their decisions, you know, colored by certain things, and who got the benefit of the doubt, you know, in that courtroom?
Parallel access to the inner workings of fame, courtesy of a stepfather who has navigated Hollywood's highest levels for decades. That's why the claims being circulated carry such weight. According to people familiar with the situation, Lori has allegedly told close contacts that Steve Harvey was fully aware of the atmosphere surrounding Sean Diddy Combs and still supported her involvement with him. If true, this transforms the story from a private disappointment into something far more serious. The fallout wouldn't stop at emotional damage. These allegations introduce the possibility of legal vulnerability. Corporate partnerships could be jeopardized. Long-standing sponsorships may suddenly reassess their alliances. A man who built his reputation on faith, family, and moral guidance could find himself facing uncomfortable questions about his proximity to one of hip-hop's most controversial figures.
Through all of this?
So you're not allowed, they don't want you to say nothing about what's really going on.
No, they want you to be quiet.
And what he may have known long before the public did. And the risks escalate if Lori's reported cooperation results in tangible evidence. Messages, private correspondence, or casual comments captured on film could unravel decades of carefully curated public perception in a matter of hours. But this is where the narrative intensifies. Because while Lori's alleged anger toward her stepfather may have ignited the situation, the consequences are no longer contained. What started as a personal reckoning is rapidly evolving into a widening blaze, one that could consume far more than a single family relationship. And at this point, the story no longer begins and ends with Sean Diddy Combs. We've seen this cycle before in Hollywood scandals. A single claim surfaces, then another corroborates it, then patterns emerge, and eventually an entire web comes into view. In Combs' case, that web reportedly stretches across some of the most recognizable figures in entertainment. Usher has already made a very public effort to separate himself, openly rejecting any implication that he would allow his own children anywhere near Combs' inner world. Comments that many interpreted as...
And so she called me, and she just went off on me.
As a reflection on his own teenage experiences while spending time at Diddy's home. Meanwhile, Justin Bieber's camp has gone conspicuously quiet as archive footage of him socializing with Combs as a minor circulates again online. Now, According to insiders, Lori Harvey may be preparing to reveal what truly occurred during her travels with Combs in 2019. Trips that reportedly included her parents, and that shifts the spotlight in an uncomfortable direction. The issue is no longer limited to Steve Harvey's personal decision-making. It raises broader questions about what Marjorie Harvey may have known, and whether the family collectively played a role in legitimizing a relationship that, viewed through today's lens, appears deeply problematic to many observers. If that interpretation holds, this stops being celebrity gossip. It becomes a case study in how power structures protect themselves. Let's revisit those trips. Italy, Mexico, coordinated appearances in New York. At the time, entertainment media framed the situation as nothing more than a glamorous, short-lived romance. But there was an element that stood out even then. Lori's parents weren't distant or disengaged. They were reportedly present. They shared meals. They appeared in photographs. And despite the substantial age gap and obvious imbalance in influence, Steve Harvey never publicly addressed the situation or acknowledged concerns that